exciting episode of the Media Boat Podcast, where we talk about movies, TV, music, and video games, but not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us on the Media Boat Podcast this week. It is June the 26th, 2026. It is episode 544. Wow. We're cruising on those numbers, huh?
Yep. Well, do you know what today is?
I don't know.
It's Stitch Day 626, 626, 626. Stitch
Sure.
is back there, hiding behind me. 626.
Something like that.
All right. Well, let's celebrate Stitch Day by starting with.
We're not talking about him.
I'm not talking about it. Yeah, he's not in here anymore.
No.
I started with the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And at number one, You Knew It, because I knew it. I knew you by Taylor Swift is number one.
Yep.
At two, Shoes in Texas by Ella Langley. Coming in at three, Stupid Song by Olivia Rodrigo. At four, Drop Dead by Olivia Rodrigo. Hey, drag your top five, Be Hurt by Ella Langley. I guess that's what
Yep.
happens when Taylor Swift puts out a single
Yeah.
or any
It, it,
music, kind of.
it helps that the movie is actually out now, so that way it got that movie bump too,
It helps that the movie is actually pretty good, from what I hear.
from what I hear.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200, at number one is indeed You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love by Olivia Rodrigo. This does mean dropping number two is Iceman by Drake. At three, Dandelion by Ella Langley. Then at four is the problem himself, Morgan Wallen. And right at top five, The Great Divide by Noah Kahan. All right. Good to see Olivia get that number one album,
Yep.
like we knew. If you like any of those albums, which I know you all love the Olivia Rodrigo album, let's be serious here. But we have new releases, starting with The Ground Above by Beth Orton. Your Day Will Come
Okay.
by Channel Beats. Was it Chanel Beats?
It looks
I
like
guess Chanel.
Chanel.
Yeah, there's no N, double N, so
Yeah.
Chanel
Yeah.
Beats.
Yeah.
We also have Banks of the Trinity by Cody Johnson. Yes, that Kojo.
Kojo? Is that what you call him?
Yes, that's his name. He is Kojo.
Sure.
We also have Big Modem, exclamation point, by,
Modern.
it's Modem.
RN.
Let me see.
Why does this happen every time? Do you always have your font really small?
No, that's just the way it's written. It is Big Modem.
No, look, your cursor is even in between R and N.
Okay, Big Modern by Goose,
Yes, goose. Not geese. Goose.
singular.
Yeah.
We also have The Wow Signal by Muse. Yes,
Mhm.
that Muse. I saw this. I actually did get a chance to listen to it because I did something else instead, and we'll get to that in TV section.
Fair enough.
We also have Forever Now by Switchfoot. Yep, those Switch Feet. After the Astronaut by Butthole Surfers.
Yes.
Yep, those Butthole Surfers.
Yeah.
And lastly, Dear God by The Pretty Reckless.
Yeah.
I also assume that's how you have to say it, was just, oh, dear God.
Yeah, probably.
Not, dear God.
Dear God is probably what you say when you get infected by some sort of snake bite or by some sort of bat, like Taylor Momsen keeps being infected by things.
Just, it's how you start a letter to your dad.
What? Okay.
Because your dad has a
Anyway.
God complex. Oh, no, just me?
He doesn't listen to this, does he?
Well, he does now. All right.
He just somehow, so wherever he is right now, he just was like, what? Huh? Someone's talking about me.
Yes, he just sneezed. All right. Well, we have so much music news this past week. We're all up into the bits, the bits, the bits.
Indeed.
So, you know how Big Modern,
Hmm.
the album,
Yeah.
is being put out by Goose?
Yes.
Well, they were also in the news this past week,
Yeah.
but not for a really good reason.
No.
A concert goer fell to his death during a Goose concert on Saturday night at Madison Square Garden. This is according to CBS News.
Yeah, so this man was in his 40s. He was there with some family members. Not really clear why this happened, but the band has made it a goal of theirs to point it out and support the family and like do like tributes to the man after his death. So yeah, Goose has been doing the right thing. This was the story I saw most this past week. A lot of people were talking about it. Yeah, just weird, just a weird situation. You don't see this happen in indoor arenas like this a lot. And so when it does happen, it's like, wow, okay. Don't know. Not sure what was going on there, but yeah. Condolences to the
Uh,
family.
I mean, isn't this typically why they don't have like the very like high upper rafters filled to kind
Yeah,
of prevent this
yeah.
from happening?
And it's unclear exactly. It's actually kind of surprising with Goose not being like the biggest band in the world. In
Right.
fact, they're not even, I would argue, as big as Geese. So it's interesting to see that somebody was up there in the higher seats at all. But I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, sounds like Goose is doing the right thing here,
Mhm,
and
mhm, mhm.
well wishes to the family for the
Yes.
death. All right. On a lighter turn, though,
Hmm.
we got new Carly Rae Jepsen. Well, we know she got married, and she's announced a double album, 24 track, titled Day and Night. Uh, uh.
I don't think there will be a cover of that song on here, though.
Oh, there should be.
Um, there should be, but there won't be.
Okay. Well, Day and Night uh, uh, will be releasing September 18th.
Yes.
Media Boat album of the no, sorry, Leah was already here. Nope, nope, I'm sorry. Casey was already here. Oh, sorry, no, I'm sorry. Ella already was here. Oh, sorry, I know.
You know,
Too
it's
many
gonna be a
albums.
it's gonna be a tough year, is what that means. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm curious to see what Olivia does with a double album. The first single
Who?
of this, what did I say?
You said Olivia.
Did I?
It's Carly.
Carly.
Yes.
Carly, sorry. I was thinking Carly. But maybe I saw Olivia and said
Well, I
that.
mentioned Olivia, but
Yeah.
yes.
But yeah, interesting to see what Carly does here with a double album. The first single of this era actually was released today. It's called On Wire, something like that. It's interesting. It's a little different than things that she's done before. A little bit more alt rock than her typical sound. I made a joke after we listened to it today that it sounds more like rock music than Charlie XCX's rock music. Uh, but yeah, I actually like it. It's interesting. There's a neat production choice on it. And yeah, if this is any hint towards the content of at least one of the discs on this album, it looks like we're getting something a little different from Carly, and that's exciting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what this is.
It is called On Wires.
On
I'm
Wires.
surprised she didn't do just title it Day and then release a night album and then
Yeah.
have a Day and Night or Dawn album
Yeah, I don't know if we're
or
getting
Dusk
two
album,
discs.
depending on how you want to get there.
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing like two discs that are different, like different sounds, perhaps. Maybe she's exploring something here. I don't know. Or if it's just 24 tracks of similar sounding stuff. I don't know. Anything can happen. She's rather unpredictable these days, is what I will say about Carly. Um, I also recommend the video for On Wires. It's neat. It's neat looking. There's some ideas in there, and she filmed it while she was pregnant.
Okay. I mean, she got married, she got pregnant, she has
Yes,
an album. Is
she
there anything
has.
this woman can't do?
I mean, she has had the child as well at this point. But yeah, this will be the next thing she gives birth to. So look forward to
Probably won't take as long though.
it.
All right. Well, we'll wait for that in September 18th. But speaking of Olivia Rodrigo, she's
Yes.
indeed the next story, as she has announced her inaugural, the first ever, one of a kind, presented by Olivia Rodrigo, Daisy Chain Fields Festival, taking place in our backyard, Irvine, California, at the OC Great Park on August 29th.
Yes. So this thing is crazy. So Olivia made this kind of inspired by Lilith Fair as a concept. So it is mostly female artists here. Everyone is playing pro bono because net proceeds from the festival are 100% directed toward nonprofit organizations. I'm reading from the website here,
Yes.
dedicated to advancing and advocating for women and girls. So yeah, it's she basically just called up a bunch of friends and idols that she looked up to and asked if they wanted to participate in it. And yeah, it's a festival that includes a lot of older legacy acts and newer names. So right out the top here, it says you have Bikini Kill, which is a big get. Chapel Roan, uh, indie rock band that I've been following, Die Spitz. Dochi, so you get a little bit of rap in here. Garbage, um, recent
Raj.
sensation Cat's Eye, and
Mhm.
even Mitski is going to show up here. The Breeders reunite again for this thing. Santa Gold, remember Santa Gold? And what are listed as special guests, so they may or may not perform, are Karen O of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Sarah McLachlan, and Stevie Nicks. So pretty much a who's who here of women in music from God, the last 5 or 6 decades, which is really, really crazy that she pulled this off. So congratulations for Olivia for like just making a lineup as studded as this. And on top of that, having it go to a good cause. Just amazing, a little bit on the expensive side, and it is as already sold out. So if you missed your opportunity, well, too bad. There is a wait list according to the website, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But yeah, if you get to make your way down to Irvine for this, I am extremely jealous. I just didn't have to happen for spare $500 for Christy and I to go to this. But hey, you know,
I mean, yeah,
I'm
the
glad it's
opening
happening.
ticket, well, that's not, it's one day, August
Mhm.
29th. It's $250 for a
Per
ticket
person. For
per person.
general admission, everything above that gets higher. So yeah, I mean,
I
yes, I
mean,
realize that the prices are going to a good cause, and that's awesome,
mhm.
but just more than what you could shake right now.
I mean, there are bungalows and suites if you want to contact them. Of course, you're going to be spending a lot more than probably
Yeah,
in pit viewing of
that's
$1,200.
thousands. That's thousands of dollars, I'm sure. But yeah, I
I mean,
hope maybe they'll stream it. Is at this point, that's all I'm crossing my fingers for.
uh, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, Verizon is a partner in
Yeah,
it, so
is
maybe
a
they'll
sponsor.
do
We'll
something in
see.
it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you mentioned, but Olivia Rodrigo will also be
Oh
performing
yeah,
at this. She's not
I
just presenting it; she
I
will
guess that's
be
a given.
performing in it.
I guess that's a given to a certain extent. It's like, yeah, also Olivia.
Which I know she's going to go on her own tour as well during
Yeah,
this time.
that is true.
But yeah, I mean, just to see like Olivia and Chaperone, like, is probably worth the ticket admission alone
For a lot of people, yeah.
for a lot of
And
people.
then
And
on
then you get everyone else.
and on top of that, you get to see, like I said, 5 decades worth of important women in music who have paved the way for artists like Olivia. So really cool.
Yeah. And unlike certain other festivals where you got to fight the uh, desert heat and the desert sand and the winds, here you have to fight traffic down the five
Yeah.
to Irvine.
Yeah. The Great Park is cool, and I'm glad that they're doing something in the Great Park that's not boring. Like this is the first cool thing that I've seen happen there since it was built. It
Oh,
still
you haven't been
feels
there during Christmas then?
no. It still feels like a new thing to me, which is crazy because what it's probably going to celebrate its like 20th anniversary soon, isn't it?
Yeah, since they like officially like started breaking ground.
I don't know. I just remember when they were talking. I remember when that was still the El Toro base. that's how long ago that I was there.
Some of us
Like
still
I
call
grew
it the
up
El Toro base.
grew up down there. Yeah. Like I remember back when there was a vote for to see if they were going to build an airport there. That's how old I am. Anyway,
That's
all
how
right.
local you are.
Enough South Orange County inside baseball. Let's move on.
No, no, do more, do more. We got to promote this.
I remember. No, that's it. That's it. Anyway,
All right. Well, yeah. If you did happen to get tickets, let us know.
yeah.
Email us.
Congratulations.
Congratulations too. Email us at meetboatpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us
Yeah.
how excited you are about Daisy Chain Fields. And lastly, in music bits, name not on this list, but maybe should be, could be,
Maybe.
Phoebe Bridgers. Well, she's announced her third full-length solo album, Lost Weekend, which will be arriving a week before that festival on August 14th.
Yep. This makes sense. She announced a tour. She had been playing new songs at her early tour dates. Not surprising that this is announced now. But yeah,
Are
looking
we
forward to
surprised
seeing
that
what
it's
this
only
is.
her third album or third
I mean,
full-length album?
no, obviously this is not including the EP and full-length album that she put out with Lucy Dacus and Julian Baker as Boy Genius. This is just her third solo record.
Hmm. All right. Well, have you listened to anything?
It's just mostly been Olivia on repeat. I'll be honest. I've been listening to that record a lot in my car. Kind of going between that and the Future Teens record I talked about a few weeks ago. I feel like I already have a pretty solid top three albums of the year, which is not something I could have said last year. I feel like this
Hmm.
is already, even we're only halfway through, already a way stronger year than 2025. So yeah, it's going to be tough, especially with Carly coming up, Charlie coming up, Phoebe now coming up. It's like there's a lot still yet to drop. So it'll be interesting to see what how everything shakes out for me at the end of the year.
I am oscillating between Olivia in the car and Casey in the home, with
Yeah,
Ella popping in every now and then.
yeah, just as a little change of pace.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on then into video games. So we start with new releases,
Just two.
including, yeah, there are only two. First up, Rhythm Heaven Groove for the Switch.
Yep.
And I think the Switch 2 as well.
Yes, anything on the Switch. Well, most games on the Switch, but especially new releases are playable
Yep.
on the Switch too.
All right. And we also have Star Wars Heroes and Villains, but not the one you're thinking of.
Yeah, no.
No, this is indeed Monopoly, colon, Star Wars Heroes and Villains for wide release. You got it. You can play it.
Yeah, I guess it's a
Would you
Monopoly Star
play it?
Wars. I don't know. Sure. Star Wars Monopoly, everybody. Why not?
Yeah, but specifically the heroes versus villains. Star Wars Monopoly?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, just like the music section, there was so much happening in the video game section that
What
we'd
a week.
all wrap it up into the bits, the bits, the bits.
Yeah, I don't know what it was within the air or in the water this week, but the video games was crazy. Another one of those weeks where it just feels like, oh, is the industry like dead? Okay, let's figure it out. We might have to rebuild this whole thing because I don't know what the hell is happening anymore.
Oh, here's my tinfoil hat going on right now.
Okay.
Is that Valve started this week, had their news, and then Gabe Newell just hit up everyone saying, please make other news, please make other news, please make other news.
I don't
Because
know
we
if that's what
start,
happened, but
well, that's where we're going to start.
yeah.
Because Valve has released and revealed the Steam Machine price point.
Yes.
Well, it's a pretty penny, starting at $1,050. And
Yeah,
I
when
say
we
starting.
yes, that's just for the 512 gigabyte model. There's also 1 and 2 terabyte versions that are more money than that. There's also slight power differences, I believe, between the models.
Mhm.
But ultimately, Valve did point out that they didn't want the price point to start this high. It's just that's the reality of how much the components are costing them right now. So yes, they apologized for it, but still, this is what we are all having to deal with. So yeah, this kind of caused a little bit of a little bit of conversation about where we're at with PC parts right now and whether this is supposed to be like equivalent to a PC. Like, are we really making PCs around this price? Could you maybe just go on to PC Part Picker and like make something for this like $1,000 that's more powerful than this? Maybe. But you have to consider that Valve is selling this, like the one of the selling points of this is ease of use, is for people just to buy a thing that sits under their TV that allows them to play PC games from the comfort of their couch. So it does, but the price point does kind of change how this thing is viewed. Like we talked about it when they announced it. If this hits the right price point, this could be a game changer. Well, we got an answer to that question, and it's no. It's not going to be a game changer at this price. It just can't be. Instead, it becomes a more higher tier luxury kind of item, and it's going to limit its impact at least on launch. Speaking of launch, right now, they're unavailable, but for a period of time, you could have reserved your Steam machine. As it stands, I think even some games journalists are on the wait list, so it got really, really hard to get them pretty quickly. But yeah, at that
Right.
price point, it's going to be hard to buy anyways.
So that does kind of, in the business side of things, did they price it too low if everyone's going to buy it anyways? Could they have
Mhm.
made, they leave money on the table?
Well, the argument again that Valve made is that they didn't want to sell it this high in the first place. Like they
Ah,
wanted to sell it lower if they could. Because that's not, again, the whole vision for this was as an alternative to the PC, not just a thing that costs the same as a PC, which is ultimately what they were getting here. It's just the reality of the world we're in right now is what it is. And they probably didn't want to sit on it and wait until the prices would come down because they already announced it for summer. Like, there's only so much that Valve could do. And yes, you're right to point out, like, well, Gabe Newell sitting on his yacht, like, is he really to blame here? Yeah, you have to bring, like, a lot, there's a lot of things happening in video games this week that make
mhm.
you wonder why is it always the consumer or the lowest tier employee that is getting punished for the decisions made by the people who are getting millions of dollars of bonuses at the end of every year. It makes you think, right? And so, yes, it's very easy to think, like, wow, we could be living in a different world if these, like, CEOs, if these presidents, if these, like, higher executives maybe just were a little bit smarter. I don't know. I don't know really what the answer is, but yeah, it's it's rough out there. And yeah, this is another thing that I just think most people are just never going to have.
I mean, unless you were able to just casually have anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500 lying around that you could just
Yeah.
gleefully purchase.
I mean,
Sorry,
again,
pre-order.
I
You're not
just
paying
said that
straight,
we
you're
couldn't get
pre-ordering it.
I just said we couldn't even afford price like the $250 ticket. So like I'm definitely not somebody who can drop $1,100 on a Steam machine. So yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people are in the same boat. It's rough out there right now.
hmm It's so rough out there that even Microsoft is raising its price
Again.
again. So while you may have gotten a discount on Game Pass, Microsoft is raising the price of the Xbox Series S and X by $100 for its 512 gigs models and $150 for its 1 terabyte model. This
Yes.
means that if you bought, if you were to go out and buy an Xbox Series S, it would cost the same as the Xbox Series X did when it launched.
Yes.
And you're getting half the power for it.
Yes. And this means that the cheapest, the least expensive, I should say, the least expensive Xbox Series X now is $800. Again, like you said, a console that launched at five.
PlayStation 3 cries for it.
This has never happened before. I am now like reconsidering selling my Series X now that I can probably realistically get $500 to $600 on it.
I mean, more than
Like,
what you paid for?
yeah, I could probably make money now on my Series X, which is wild. But that's just where we're at right now. It's just like that's just where what happened. Yeah, it's inexplicable. Like I get that component prices have gone up. It's the same reason why the Steam machine is what it is. But yeah, it's caused a conversation. Like there's like a conversation that needs to be had at this point. Like, are people getting priced out of video gaming now? Is console gaming now getting to be something that is a luxury at like a gaming PC used to be? Like where are people going to play video games that are designed for consoles anymore if people can't afford them? How much is a PS6 going to cost when that inevitably releases? These are questions now we have to actually ask because it's not like it used to be. You can't just always assume a console's price will go down and then the new one will replace it. That's not happening this generation. It's all chaos. Something drastic has changed in the video game industry, and now we have to figure out a new way because this is not sustainable. People cannot afford video games anymore. And perfect segue into the other news this week.
Yeah, because if you're waiting for PlayStation 6, you're probably also waiting for GTA 6, as Rockstar has confirmed that GTA 6 will indeed release in November of this year. I think that's another month push, so call that up for me, seeing as we get pushed again. But we did get price points for it. And for that extra bit of money you're throwing down for a console, you have to pull out some extra bit of money for both the regular and special edition versions, where the regular version will cost you $80. I know it says $79.99,
Yeah,
but it's 80
80.
bucks. Or you can get the regular edition at $100. And no, I did not misspeak there, because for the $80 version, you're going to be locked out of several features.
Well, to be fair, according to Rockstar, the stuff in the special edition, which is what they're really calling it, for $100, it's mostly cosmetic. It's mostly outfits, like vehicles, some weapons, but it's unclear whether these weapons will give you an advantage at all. Like GTA open to interpretation whether how important it is that you are competitive in the single player mode. Because another note here, this is just a single player. They have not mentioned whether this game will have its own version of GTA Online yet. They're
They
being
did
very
mention
careful.
GTA Plus will be coming
Yes.
at a later date, and
Yes.
if you pre-order, you'll get a 1 month subscription to GTA Plus
Yes.
when it arrives.
But that is outside of this pricing,
Yes.
is what I'm trying to say, is that that does not include what you will be eventually doing for online stuff. So this is just the single player content that they're talking about right now for this release. And then also, if you think $80, if you pull up to say, a Best Buy and buy GTA 6 for $80 and get a physical box in your hand, you may be surprised that there is no disc in it. Yes, Rockstar has confirmed they are not printing discs for this game. Inside the physical release is a download code.
Oh no, they pulled a Madden on us.
Yep, that's it. It's this is not super surprising, but people are getting angry. And I see both arguments. From Rockstar's perspective, this is a weird year to print a lot of discs. Disc manufacturing has probably slowed down a great deal. And they don't maybe even have the ability to print as many discs as they need to supply the Best Buys of the world with actual physical copies of GTA 6. Two, the game is probably bigger than a Blu-ray, which means that a download code is really the only way to get the entire game available for you outside of having a disc that's basically just blank, which was what they did in like the Xbox One PS4 era, and then having that kick to the store to download the game anyways. It just makes sense from Rockstar's perspective to do it this way. However, yes, I know it sucks if you're a collector. It sucks if you're somebody who wants this game to be able to be played far after the servers are shut down someday. There are reasons why you'd want that physical disc in the thing, and it could run all sorts of different angles. So I get why people are upset. It's the same reason why people are upset about the game key cards on the Switch too. But this is such a big release that this is a kind of a big shift. This like I remember a handful of months ago, some journalist had said that like if GTA 6 doesn't ship with discs, disc-based video games are done. I think there's an argument for that. Like I think this
Mhm.
is it. We finally did it. This is the turning point. Because if GTA doesn't do it, why would any other games publisher spend money on producing discs anymore? It's over. Game over, man.
Well, GTA isn't even doing a collector's edition, and plenty of other publishing studios still do collector's edition.
Yeah.
Does that mean that's going to go away? Well, your
No,
steel
I
cover
think those
books.
well, those boutique brands that are doing this like limited run will probably continue. But I'm talking about like perfect example is your Maddens, your EA, your Ubisofts, your biggest publishers. They're probably also just going to be like, we don't need to do this anymore. So it's going to be a lot like the DVD market now, where it's like if you want a release on DVD, a format that is ancient at this point, you usually have to special order it from a website. I imagine that this is where we'll pivot to.
We'll get to DVDs and Blu-rays a bit later.
Yes, we will.
But yeah, I mean, not having a disc means that you're basically buying $80 for a box. But even then, that box doesn't get your guarantee you're going to play the game when eventually the servers go offline.
Yeah, of course,
And they will eventually go offline. You can't say they'll run
someday.
forever.
Yeah.
Because if you do, I will point you to Destiny 2.
Speaking of which,
Speaking of which, Sony has confirmed that it is laying off most of the Destiny team and some of the Marathon devs.
this, of course, hot on the heels of the announcement that Destiny 2 will be wrapping up its content and
Mhm.
will be given basically a finale.
A sunsetting,
Yep.
yes.
Well, unfortunately, so are the paychecks of the employees. About 300 people, according to recent reports, are being laid off as part of this move. Yeah, it's kind of gross. You could have imagined in an alternative version of the story that Sony would have realized, wow, there's a lot of talented people working on the Destiny 2 team. We're going to move them either fully to Marathon full time, or we own them, move them somewhere else in the company to work on other PlayStation projects. That makes some sense, right? To just gleefully terminate 300 of them is not doesn't seem like a good use of resources that you purchase. Like when you rewind the tape, Sony purchased Bungie ostensibly for their knowledge of online games. Like I'm forgetting the term, but live service, that's what it is. Like live service games. Yes, I understand that after that happened, Sony had some bad times with some live service games, notably Concord.
Yes.
But when there's a story that just came out today that Sony said to shareholders that they still intend on doing live service games, it's even more baffling to me that they would fire a bunch of people who are really good at working on live service games. What are they doing? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you hemorrhage talent like this? Is it really just because they want to save some money? How much money are they really saving when they have to later hire on a bunch of people to work on another live service game? When they already had that talent here working on the most successful live service game of all time. That's not Fortnite, I guess. It's crazy to me. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Somebody suggested on Blue Sky that it almost seems like they're trying to gut Bungie. Like that this is just that Sony being like, actually, it'd be better for us if Bungie wasn't a brand anymore that people cared about, because then we can do whatever we want with their property. Then Marathon, what happens to Marathon next? Anyone's guess at this point. Sony might even give up on Marathon at this point, a game that just came out and is doing pretty well.
I mean,
It
you know
just
how long a marathon is, though, right? 26.2 months.
something like that. I don't know. It's just Again, all these stories have something in common, which is just things used to not like be like this. None of this used to happen. The video game industry has had its chaotic moments, but I've been following it for most of my life now. And this is ridiculous. All of this. It's like nobody knows what they're doing anymore. It's just throw the rule book out. Like it's just running businesses into the ground for the sake of running them into the ground. And it's like they forgot that they're products that people enjoy. It's like they forgot that people play these games and enjoy them and want to play more of them. Instead, it's just, is this money button producing enough money? No. Well, let's fire the people who made the money button. It doesn't make any sense.
The bunny button never breaks, though. Stocks only go up.
Until they go down, and then everybody freaks out, and then they terminate everybody
Like, oh,
until
cash ran out. Sorry, we have to fire the rest of you.
I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. We need something new. Like, there's got to be some. At this point, the only answer is to rebuild because the way that it has gone has led us here, and it's just there's nothing to sustain. If there's no industry, like that's what this is looking like. They're gonna kill it. They're gonna kill the whole thing. Like, will there be video games? Probably, but they'll be made by people who are making them out of their basement because the AAA industry is imploding, and we're watching it happen in real time.
It's not a rebuild, it's a bounce back. And Bungie can bounce back.
Oh God, I wish I could be as rosy as that sentence, but I just can't after this week.
Uh,
Anyways,
Anyways, that was video game bits. As depressing as all of that was,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happens now.
I'll tell you what happens. You actually still continue to play video games.
Somehow.
Somehow. Did you play anything new?
No, ironically enough.
Okay. Well, I played and then I stopped playing and I actually removed the MLB 26 app from my phone.
It's not good, turns
It's not
out.
good. No.
Yeah,
No.
I never went back to it.
Yeah. As soon as I realized it's been a couple days since I went to it, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have the care anymore. I'm done with this. Nope.
It's
Off.
just there's that idea there. It's just that they're not taking advantage of it and it's not to its full potential yet. Maybe we'll re-download in a year or something, version 2. Maybe that's when they really kick into high gear.
All right. Version 2 electric hoogaloos. All right. Well, let's move on then. Into television. We start the television with the sports quarter.
Indeed.
And the sports heard around the world, and
Yeah.
definitely all around the world, is FIFA as the World Cup continues.
Yes.
We are currently in the final matches of the group stages, and the three host countries have already qualified to move on to the knockout rounds. We have the USA will take on Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's right, it's a 2-for-1 special. We have Canada versus South Africa, and Mexico will play Tibida.
To be determined.
Yes, that's what I said. Tibida.
Yes.
They'll play the third seed of I think by the end of tonight. Wait, no, H and I. End of tomorrow, we'll know who they play because the group play begins on Monday, the 29th. Yeah, the 29th. All right. Well, as we wait for, I mean, I'll tell you who else has moved on already. It's Switzerland, Australia, Argentina, Ivory Coast, Norway, Japan, Brazil, Morocco, Netherlands, France, and Germany have all officially moved on. Uh, Congratulations. We'll see you when one of you eventually loses because only one of you can win.
Turns out,
There
yes.
can only be one.
There can only be one.
And just like there can only be one, there will be one winner at the U.S. Open of golf. And in this case, it was Wyndham Clark. And it was his second win. I don't know why I have a second S there. It's his second time winning the U.S. Open up in New York, despite hecklers on Sunday so loud you could hear them through the TV, and it
Yikes.
was not fun.
No.
In fact, it resulted in several fans being ejected from the course after shouting several comments in the in the opening nine holes.
Yeah, not great,
No,
especially golf, a sport usually pretty quiet. It's pretty easy to hear somebody if they're being loud.
well, yeah, especially if you're yelling like you're gonna choke, like, oh, choke artist over here, or get in the sand. Just very, very annoying. William Clark did come out and say it's part of the game, it's part of New York, but at the same time, these people are here to do their jobs. They don't need extra heckling over here. I mean, they don't need heckling, period. Do it in an arena where you can't be seen instead of like right up on the fence line or the rope line. All right. Let's see here. Where do I want to go next? Because we have a lot going on in sports, including the draft. Both the NBA and the NHL had their champions crowned and immediately decided to bring in new blood instead of waiting 3 months like the NFL does and like the MLB does. Well, no, MLB does it mid-season, but like other sports do, until the champions crowned. No, new season's already started, and the results are in. In the NBA, the Washington Wizards have drafted AJ DeBansta, DeBansa, DeBansa,
Yeah,
out of
something like
BYU.
that.
Yeah, put that name on a jersey.
Yeah, please do.
As number 101 overall pick, followed by the Jazz, drafting Darren Peterson out of Kansas, the Grizzlies, drafting Cameron Boozer out of Duke, and the Bulls, drafting Caleb Wilson out of University of North Carolina. That's right, another Caleb has joined a Chicago team. And the Clippers, drafting Keaton Wagler out of Illinois. But while the draft was going on, it was not the biggest news of the past week, as a huge blockbuster trade was made. And
Yes.
normally, we don't talk about off-season trades here.
Unless they're this crazy.
Yes, because the uh, Bucks had decided to trade away Bobby Portis. And Giannis Antetokounmpo!
Yes.
That's right, the big man himself, the man who led the Bucks to their one and only championship, is no longer on the Bucks. Instead, they're sending both those players to South Beach, to Miami, to the Heat.
Yes.
They've taken
Huh.
their talents. Yes.
A big star going to the Heat? This has never happened before.
No, no, especially a center. No, not since Shaq has done it. Oh no, shit. Did LeBron play center for the Heat? No, he played for
Maybe.
the no, he played for the Lakers one year.
Close enough.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, because actually, that's a fun stat. LeBron has played every single position for a full season. So in theory, you could have a team full of LeBron James from the different years he's played. But we're not here to talk about that. We're talking here about Giannis, as him and Bobby Portis went to the Heat. In exchange, the Bucks received Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, James Jacques Jr., Kasparas Draculius, and the current number 13 pick that they just made, Nate Armet. And he was picked and immediately traded.
Sure.
The trade was picked, I did pick it, whatever. But that's not all. Not only do they get 5 players for those two, they also get a 2031 first round pick, a 2030 pick swap, a 2033 first round pick, and a 2033 second round pick. That's right. You got 5 players and 4 picks for the price of 2 players.
Yeah.
What this does mean is that somewhere out there, someone just graduated 8th grade will be going into high school and will eventually go on to become that 2033 first overall pick. Our first pick, first draft pick. Yes, the math checks out.
Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, because we are still in 2026 and they're trading away 2033 draft picks. 70 years. Crazy. I'm
Yeah.
surprised the NBA like actually allows this to occur.
Yeah, we'll get to what leagues think makes sense with players in a little bit, but yes,
But
it's wild.
yeah, that's the NBA.
Yeah.
Over in the NHL, they are literally, as we are talking right now, currently drafting
Yes.
with the Toronto Maple Leafs drafting Gavin McKenna out of Penn State as the 101 overall pick. This was pretty much guaranteed going into the draft. At two, the San Jose Sharks have drafted Ivar Stenberg. Uh, at three, the Vancouver Canucks have drafted Caleb Malhorta. At four, the Buffalo Sabres have drafted Daxton Rudolph. And rounding out your top five, the New York Rangers have drafted Albert Smith.
Mm,
Smits,
mm,
no H,
mm.
Smits. Or Smitty, if you want to be nasty. All right. Congratulations on being drafted into the league. You're about to go up against some 30-year-old men because hockey
Congratulations.
players last forever.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, those are your new drafts going on.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we also, as for the MLB draft, as I mentioned, we are 3 weeks away now. Wait, a month? 3 weeks away. It's July 11th. So
Hmm.
after the All-Star break, after the
Yes.
All-Star game happens, then the MLB draft will happen. And
Yes.
surely some players from the national champion team will be drafted, as that was a wild game. Okay, well,
Yeah, I heard.
not really. Game one and game two were wild.
Yeah, yeah.
Game three was a blowout as Oklahoma bounced back to win Monday night's like sudden death, winner go home, all or nothing game over North Carolina, 13-2. To put that into perspective, 13 runs that they scored here is more than North Carolina scored in the entire series against them.
Yeah. Wild.
So either they were just fed up and upset that they had to play on Monday, so they just put their heart on them, or just wanted to leave no doubt because they won that first game pretty handily, and then that second game was wild.
Yeah.
But Carolina got the better of them, and that's why you play 3 games. And Oklahoma was like, "Yeah, we're not having any of this. Send in the dogs." But yeah, 13-2. Congratulations, Oklahoma. You are the men's college World Series champions. All right. And speaking of baseball,
Yes.
we have another firing as the Mets have fired manager Carlos Mendoza after the Mets have started 34-47.
Yeah, we referenced a few weeks ago when we talked about the other manager firings in baseball,
Mhm.
whether or not that the axe was going to fall on the Mets as well. It just took a little longer. But yes, ultimately the Mets season has not gone nearly as well as it should have, especially considering how much money that those guys have. Again, we'll get to that in a second.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it's pretty wild, but we knew that this was going to happen more or less.
Yeah. But also standing at 34-47,
Hmm.
the Angels.
Yeah. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. Hmm. However, one slight difference there. There's a first year manager on the Angels, so it's kind of a less known quantity. I think they'll give Suzuki a little bit more rope before they decide to pull that one too.
Right, and then hire Albert Pujols like they should have done all along.
Yeah, he didn't end up getting that other job, so he's still on the market, right?
Yep.
Anyway.
Anyways, other news around the MLB, the
Yes.
MLB Players Association and the
Yes.
owners are currently in negotiations. They are
Yes.
talking, which is a good sign to
Right.
prevent a lockout, but
But
still, a deal has to be made before December 1st.
and if yeah, well, go ahead.
And there's some sticking points that
Not just
need to be
some.
hammered out.
According to Instagram posts that both of them put up respectively yesterday, they're pretty diametrically opposed on a lot of things. And first, I want to make an apology for something I said a few weeks ago. I just was ignorant, I guess. I didn't really understand what I was saying. We were talking about the salary cap, and I was like, well, this seems to make sense for all parties. Why don't they do it? Well, the Players Association apparently is the holdup there. They believe that that is a unfair treatment of their players. Basically, anything that they see anything that doesn't present their players with the most money that the player could possibly make
Hmm.
is not a fair deal. So they are vehemently against the salary cap. And that's basically the MLB's whole thrust. Like they care about this so much that their Instagram post was fascinating. It was like the first page, like it's like multiple pictures, right? The first page is just like, here's the stuff that we are pretty much sure that's going to happen in this deal. And then they dedicated the rest of the post to be like, but here's why we think the salary cap is needed. They're just hammering that point over and over again. Meanwhile, the Players Association post basically does the opposite. They're basically saying, like, well, we don't like this thing, we don't like this thing, but most of all, here's why we really don't like the salary cap. And then just go off. So, yeah, it's looking like they are pretty divided right now. But you do mention one of the things, though, that might actually happen involves gambling.
Well, we'll get to gambling in a second here, but I want to respond to your
Yeah.
salary cap
Uh-huh.
that it's amazing that MLB doesn't have a salary cap because,
Mhm.
four of the other five leagues
All
have
the
a
other leagues
salary
have it.
cap.
Yes.
Even the NBA, while they do have a salary cap, they also allow for max and, for some goddamn reason, a super max
Right.
contract to be signed.
Yeah.
So there are ways around it, and even the Philadelphia Eagles have restructured their players
Hmm.
several times over.
It
Even the
looks,
Rams.
but in order to
Who-
get there, though, it looks like the Players Association is going to have to budge. There needs to be some sort of compromise here, but they seem like they refuse to.
Right, but the way you get around that is with signing bonuses.
Well, about that, it looks like that's going to be a little bit more complicated if, again, the Players Association gets their way.
Hmm.
One of the things that the league side said that they're going to try to do is eliminate deferred payments. Remember the Otani deal?
Yep.
The league doesn't want that to happen anymore
They don't want us to become a standard.
for obvious reasons.
Yes.
Uh, but again, is the Players Association going to be cool with that when, in their eyes, that's just the player getting what the player wants? And isn't that fair? They're imagining this world in which all these restrictions will cause players to compete with each other as opposed to just against the teams, which is bad for the players. And there's an argument there. That is pretty bad when it all of a sudden it becomes, oh, well, this other guy got this deal. I wanted this deal. Why don't you offer me the same deal? Am I not good, like as not good as this guy?
Yep. So
That's
we
not a
get
good
to
light.
the screwball
Yes.
scenario that we had this past off season,
Right, you
where they
do.
went to arbitration.
Hmm. It's tough, honestly, and I just do not know how these two organizations are going to see eye to eye. So, what do you think the likelihood here of another lockout is? Are we is this 94 again?
I think this is why the AUSL had this is it's going on right now.
Yeah, too bad that these men can't like compete in the women's leagues, right? Yeah, no, I this is rough. This is rough, and I'm glad we don't have to worry about this until next off season. But yeah, this
But yeah,
draft might be the last of its kind, is I guess what I'm gonna say.
well, it's also not the only, like I said, the only sticking point, as the
Right.
MLB Players Association
Hmm.
have proposed a ban on prop betting on individual players to help combat harassment from said disgruntled gamblers.
This is incredibly smart, and I do hope that this is one of the things that is salvaged in this deal, because yeah, like we have talked a lot on this show about how gambling advertising, gambling culture has taken over the league. Like even when we were there at an Angels
And not
game,
just Angels,
no,
not
sports
just
every
MLB League, just
yeah,
all sports in general.
all sports. But specifically, one of the biggest problems is these individual player bets. And it's causes a lot of toxicity on like in the stadium and online. You have a lot of people basically harassing actual living players like because they're not making their bets, like because they're not performing to the point where these people are making money on them. It's inappropriate and it causes like unnecessary name calling, unnecessarily violence. Like we witnessed an actual person heckle Zach Neto during a game because he wasn't going to make his parlay. That's not cool, man. Like these are real people. Like you can't just pretend that they're your numbers on a spreadsheet, or even worse, your avatars in a video game. Like that's not what they are. They're real people playing an actual sport. Like you can't just view them as dollar signs swinging baseball bats. It's really dehumanizing. And so I think that anything that can be done to help that is a good move.
I mean, yeah, you're talking about just fans betting on
Yeah.
the players, but we also have had instances of players betting on
Yes.
players. Because in
Yeah.
the NFL, Brennan Sorsby, a player, betting
Yes.
on players, on his teammates. And then you get into a heated argument on the sides. Hey, you missed that block on purpose. You cost me yards. You cost
Right.
me bonuses and XYZ.
Yeah, that's the even scarier possibility here. And so, yeah, this prohibits both of the sides of those like things possibly happening. And yeah, you don't want a world in which sports is completely dominated by this, but it's scary how close we are.
Oh, I think we're already there. But the
Yeah.
NFL is actually trying to do something about it
Yeah.
because they have rejected the idea of a supplemental draft,
Yeah.
and thus ending Brendan Sorsby's bid to join this year. He'll have to wait until 2027 to join the regular NFL draft.
Yeah.
But he is also not allowed to compete at Texas Tech this year. And doesn't seem like any colleges are willing to, pun definitely intended here because he definitely deserves it, bet on him to play this year.
Right. Yeah. But
So hopefully that's the end of we hear of Brandon Sorsby for the next 10 months until
maybe.
the draft, NFL
Yeah.
draft kicks up.
Until that happens, and then there's a whole nother can of worms.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I
Anyway,
think unless you got any more sports to talk about,
no, I think that's it.
all right, let's move on then into TV news.
And for television news, we take a trip across the pond to everyone's favorite British swine, Peppa Pig.
Oh, that's not who I thought you were going to say for was British swine.
Is there another answer to that?
There is if you're paying attention to UK politics right now.
Oh, well, we're not talking about that.
Oh, okay.
No, Peppa Pig is in the news this week for a weird, weird reason. Hasbro, the US entertainment giant that acquired the Peppa Pig brand in 2019, is currently asking child actors on the animated series to sign over their voices to AI under new contract terms. Industry sources said AI clauses are now frequently appearing in kids' contracts on TV and film projects. But Hasbro's specific embrace of the terms on Peppa Pig has become a lightning rod for concern. Nearly 1,000 actors, talent agents, parents, and others have signed an open letter organized by the Agents for Young Performers Association this week, condemning contract clauses that mandate children sign their voices over to be used by AI. Hasbro's AI Studio CEO, Bertie Thompson, and 11 Labs' head of partnerships, Dustin Blank, have responded with a quote, attitude of take it or leave it, unquote, by debuting an AI demo replica of Peppa Pig during Axios's AI plus NY summit earlier this month. During that demonstration, the AI Peppa Pig, in quotes, said that there were special rules to make sure we still sound right, act right, and play safely, but did not reveal which Peppa actor's voice was licensed for that replica. So, yes, Robot Peppa already exists. It's too late. This is scary.
Yeah, it's scary not just in terms of where it goes for interacting,
Mm-hmm.
just in having Peppa Pig basically live on forever in
Yeah.
cartoons, and then you have AI slop regurgitating scripts out to create this content. But the
Yeah.
interaction of a AI chatbot interacting with kids using the Peppa Pig voice, the Peppa Pig license, basically,
Yeah.
but just outside of Peppa Pig, just using any like characters that a child can see because
Hmm.
a child is not able to discern
Yes.
a trusting adult from a cartoon. They're not able to
Yes.
discern that I am talking to a chatbot. They think they're talking to actual Peppa Pig,
Yeah.
actual Elmo, actual Cookie Monster,
Yeah.
actual Bluey.
That's
And
pretty, yeah.
it
That,
gets way out there in terms of like what are you actually communicating with? Because as we know as adults, AI and AI
mhm.
chatbots basically spit out whatever you want back at you as long as
Right.
you're happy,
Yeah.
even if it's wrong,
Yeah.
even if it's like potentially, I don't say like harmful, but like potentially like not good for kids, even from a learning, even if it's with the
Yeah.
best intentions,
Eh,
things can and will and almost always do go wrong because you when you're dealing with kids, you have to think of worst case scenario.
yeah.
Doesn't seem to be the case here.
Well, and that's only the consumer, for lack of a better term, facing reason why this is scary.
Oh
Then
yeah,
you
and then you have
also
the whole
have to,
actors
yes,
like
which is also
name image
rough, right?
likeness attached to it as well.
Yes, because it's one thing, it's already disturbing for an adult voice to be used in this manner for, future use.
Oh,
Having a,
unless you are James Earl Jones, who signed your AI rights away.
well, yeah, but that's key, right? Is when it's a child, it's even more complicated because, as you said, a child actor is also a child. They're signing a contract that they don't fully understand because their parents, hopefully, are involved telling them that it's like okay for them to do this. It's even crazier when you're thinking about it like as a kid's voice that will live beyond them. Kids' voices change. They don't sound like that forever. They become adults at some point. It's weird to have your a kid voice still out there voicing a character that you used to voice like a decade ago. Like that's now the thing that's going to happen to a real actor. Like they're going to have to like experience that traumatic feeling of being like that's not me, but it's saying things that I never act like that I didn't actually intend on saying. It's creepy, man. Like it's just AI being used for and yet another thing that causes existential like I don't know, like fear. Like it's weird. We shouldn't have to deal with this. We shouldn't have to our brains should not have to compete with this kind of horror. Like
Oh, but see, it's only competition if you think it's fair. This is not fair.
no, it's not.
They're
It's
not.
so
They're trying
messed
to.
up.
The company is trying to stack the deck against them.
Hmm.
They're trying to use AI
Yeah.
as a means to prop this up to
Yeah.
run forever.
And it extra sucks when you think that show business has been over the course of since its existence been awful towards child actors. They often do not get the royalties they're owed when they're later in life. Often the money doesn't even go to them, it goes straight to their parents' pockets. They might not even benefit from any of this. So, this is just another roadblock in front of a child actor, keeping that child from getting compensated for the thing that they did. It's just minefield, like on top of an existing minefield. It's just, yeah, this is gross all the way down.
Right, but as the and to get even more gross and in the mud, as the Hasbro CEO stated, it's a take it or leave it. Meaning, if
Yeah.
you're not going to sign this contract, I guess we're going to hold open auditions
Ugh, it's so
to
gross.
find someone who
Yeah.
will sign the contract.
And it's like, yeah, they're basically like threat. It's a threat
Mhm.
ultimately. It's like, well, sorry, like this is just what we're gonna do. This is how Peppa Pig, a franchise that already kind of was creepy to start with, is
Yes,
getting creepier.
yes, and we don't want that to be like, oh, well, now we have like, oh, why do you sound different? Well, they signed a contract. We're in
Yeah,
contract with this person now, not with you, even though you've been with us for 10, 12, I don't know how long Peppa Pig's been up with
a
us.
long time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, all
yeah.
right, enough Peppa Pig. Let's move on because this is going long now.
Yes, yes, it is.
All right. Now to go even longer. No, I'm kidding.
We are
We
going
watched
no
some
longer.
television this week. A couple of things. I have not watched The Bear yet. I will get ahead of that. So we probably can't do our full deep dive into the final season of The Bear, which is up on Hulu now.
I will give you a brief synopsis of The Bear right now because I did power through and I did finish it. The last two episodes, an hour each, just to prepare
Okay.
yourself.
Okay.
But I do like what they did here with season five, which
Interesting.
instead of it taking up the process of over weeks or months, this is a service. And you can say this is the service, the one that they are all pinning their hopes and dreams onto, in
Okay.
both like a final service as a team, as a family, but also as a growth service of what comes next, seeing as how we left off season four with Carmy signing away. Now, I thought they were going to do a time jump and be like, oh, Carly's like doing a competing restaurant, the one down the block. That was shown as open that
Mhm.
he's just going to be there, or he's going to go to the other one that was opening. But no, the fact that he's still here keeps the family together. The fact that everyone is still working, and the fact that they kind of make it as a single shift, a single day, kind of makes it more impactful. And I think brings it back to season two, where you could feel the weight and the stakes. That it wasn't something that was drawn out, that was like,
Mhm.
okay, we're waiting for the next thing, is that they made season five the thing and really, really well done. And I might just put it back at number one here for me.
Wow.
Oh, wait,
Okay.
no, we had the pit season two, though. Oh, darn.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough year for
Oh, it's
TV
gonna
as
be a
well,
tough
let
year
me tell
too.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm excited to jump into it. Because yeah, and to hear that you even believe that this is a bounce back is good to hear. So I'm excited to see what
Mhm.
they do. Meanwhile, you watched a different kind of show on HBO.
I'll be real brief because it was just the first episode. They're back on HBO. The dragons have returned.
Yes.
House of the Dragon comes back with what a monumental first episode.
Okay.
If you were wondering where the budget goes for our House of Dragon, because
Here it is.
it's like basically a blank check at this point for them,
Yeah.
here it is. You have like 17 different dragon scenes. You had three different battles going on. You have battle on water in the first episode. And that's just like the opening. It's like it's hopefully like kind of sets up where it's going in the this third season. At the same time, I really don't know where they're going with this third season. I'm not read up on any of the books on any of it. So it's gonna be a wild, wild ride. And I think this is what a lot of the people who were champion House of the Dragon back in season one
Hmm.
are gonna be more excited to see than it was from season two. It seems to be a lot more dragon focused, a lot more uh politically backstabbing going on, and a lot more visual spectacle.
Okay. Good to know. All right. All right. Anything else, television wise, before we move to cancellations?
Nope, we're getting into July. So
I know.
whatever TV comes out in July.
Yeah, pretty soon here. All right, then let's move into cancellations and
What am I no
renewals.
longer watching?
First up, Kevin on Prime Video.
This was the Aubrey Plaza is a animated cat show.
Ah, okay.
I guess
Canceled.
was an
Yeah,
animated cat show.
yeah, canceled after one season on Prime Video there. Ponies on Peacock, a show that we watched the first couple of episodes of and was like, it's fine. Canceled after one season,
Well,
so no more ponies.
definitely a person of non-interest over here.
Yeah, no, non-interest is right, turns out. Invincible on Prime Video will get a sixth season, so that will keep on trucking.
Hmm.
Dutton Ranch, the most recent Yellowstone spinoff, will get a second season on Paramount Plus.
Yep.
And The Americas on NBC will get a second season.
Still voiced by Tom Hanks.
And there you go. Tom Hanks still talking about those Americas.
Yep.
Then one death this week, a big death for the music industry. Clive Davis, a name you've definitely heard at least once in your life, died at 94. Of course, a Hall of Fame music executive at Columbia Records, four-time Grammy winner, very pivotal for a lot of signing of some of the most important artists of all time. And yeah, definitely drove Columbia Records to be one of the most like yeah the most like
Mm.
storied and like mainstream record labels in American history.
Yeah. Also founder of two separate labels at two
Hmm.
separate record companies as well.
Yep, 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 yep. All right, with that, let's move on to the last segment of the show, which is movies, and we start the movies section with the weekend box office numbers. So I missed last week.
Yep.
What before we do this week? What was the result of the Disclosure Day situation that we
Oh,
bet
it
on?
was under by a lot.
Okay, all right, so
Even if you
not
put
great.
it at 70, it was still
Yeah.
under.
Wow. So you got that point then.
Yeah, I
You can
already
go
marked
ahead and give
myself
that to
for
you.
that.
Cool. But this week, though, is a different story because, of course, your number one movie was predictable in a way that, we saw coming. But just how much money was the surprise? Toy Story 5 was clearly something a lot of people were looking forward to because it made $159 million dollars in a non-holiday week, which easily broke a record. So, yes, that was your number one movie by far.
Uh, Over $100 million more than Disclosure Day did on its opening weekend.
Yeah,
44
wild.
million that opening weekend last week.
Pretty good. Coming in number two, Disclosure Day only made $17 million, which is currently sitting at about 78 domestic, which is kind of embarrassing. Sorry,
Ugh,
Spielberg. Number
Spielberg
three,
did it to himself.
yeah. Number three, Obsession made another 13 million. That's at 215. That is a smash for a low budget horror movie. So
Hmm.
congratulations to Obsession. Number four, Backroom. Speaking of lower budget horror movies, $7.1 million. That's at 175. Also a hit.
Yep, for everyone who thought Backrooms was going to be able to catch Obsession, doesn't look like
Nope,
it anymore.
doesn't look like it. Number five, Scary Movie made 6.3 million dollars. I keep forgetting that that came out. That's at 97 million.
Yeah, that is, yeah, Scary Movie. Technically the sixth Scary Movie, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. They just didn't number it because of reboot, I guess.
Yes.
And then way down at number eight, your other new release this past weekend, The Death of Robin Hood, only made $2.8 million.
That's the death of that.
That's the death of that. All right, moving on to this coming week. Well, it's an easy guess again this week because there's only one new release that we even need to talk about because the Minions have returned.
Nope.
Yes, look at the
Nope.
dates 7/1.
Yep. That is after the following weekend.
Oh, oh, I got thrown off because
Yes.
I thought that this was already out, but that's just because we saw it. Okay, sorry. You're right. I'm getting ahead of myself. I jumped a week.
Yes.
No, this week there are three movies that are releasing. You're right. One of them we are actually going to talk about already. But the other two, I guess we can mention as well. First up, The Invite.
This is the comedy drama Seth Rogen movie with
Ah,
Olivia Wilde and Edward Norton and
okay.
Penelope
This,
Cruz,
yes. And
where
then there's
they're
also,
potentially invited for a swinging night out.
right. I think I saw the trailer for this. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
which ends up being a classic misunderstanding
Of course.
because it's
Of
Seth Rogen.
course. Yeah, because it's Seth Rogen. And then we also have what may be the last Jackass movie, although they've said that the last three times, right? So who knows? Jackass Best and Last. That's the name of it. I'm not editorializing here.
Right, because
Um,
then the one before this was Jackass Forever.
right. I don't know. This
I
says
guess
it's
they
the
came
last.
back.
We'll maybe see. We'll see if that's actually true or not. But yes, the biggest release, arguably, of the week though, is the next chapter in this rebooted James Gunnified DC universe, which is, of course, Supergirl, the follow up to last year's Superman. Not directed by James Gunn, but he is a producer on it. That is out. We saw it. We'll talk about it in a second, but we'll do the news before that, of course.
Right. So I have an interesting proposition for you here.
Okay. All right. What are you thinking?
Do you think Supergirl will be the number one slot?
Yeah.
Or will Toy Story 5 repeat?
Oh, that's actually a tough one. You know what? I think it would be a very bad sign for James Gunn's DC universe if it didn't debut at number one this weekend.
So you want to take
I
Supergirl?
am going to say Supergirl because
I'll
as
take
much
Toy
of a
Story 5.
juggernaut as Toy Story 5 is, I just find it hard to believe that people will completely turn a blind eye towards Supergirl.
Toy Story 5, even if it does half of it total, about $80 million. Is Supergirl Supergirl going to cross that $80 million mark?
Oh,
It should
it should.
get
Like I said,
better.
if the DC, yeah, if the DC universe wants to succeed, it has to.
Well, then
So
there's our line.
yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go on a limb here and just believe that this has enough pull. That being said, that theater last night was not full.
Hmm.
So,
All right.
makes you
Well,
think.
we'll talk about Supergirl in a second
Yeah.
here, but remember how we talked about the death of Blu-rays?
Yeah, disc manufacturing becoming very limited, you could say.
Yeah, but that leads us
But
to our next story.
but of course there will always be specialty markets, and one of the kings of specialty markets is of course the Criterion collection. And the Criterion collection, to not be outdone, has introduced their next big collector set. And this is for fans of Stanley Kubrick. The complete Kubrick has been announced. It brings together all the director's movies in 4K, with the set hitting shelves on October 20th of this year. The collection starts at the beginning of the career with Day of the Fight from 1951, all the way through Eyes Wide Shut, released in 1999. Most notable is two editions of The Shining will be included, both the theatrical and the 20-minute shorter international versions, removing several pieces of exposition to create an even more ambiguous, suffocating atmosphere of dread. Again, not me editorializing, that's in the story. All 13 films and 3 shorts are restored in 4K, with Kubrick's original soundtracks alongside the 5.1 mixes restored and remastered. The set includes 25 hours of interviews, documentaries, and behind the scenes materials. The set totals 30 discs on 4K UHD and Blu ray and is available for pre order for $480. So you could either have two people could go to Olivia Rodrigo's festival or they could get this Stanley Kubrick collection. Make your
And
choice.
both would run about the same length if you ran them all back to back to back.
Yeah, probably. Yikes. Things are too expensive. I don't know if you know this.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not only does all this include it, but in the extra commentary, Lee Unkrich, yes, that
Yes,
Lee
that
Unkrich
Lee Unkrich.
is reportedly a Stanley Kubrick expert.
Sure, why not?
Like he helped make this collection happen,
Okay.
and his commentary is on it. So
Wow. All right.
yeah, if you want to get some Lee Unkrich out of it, it's there.
There you go. Huh.
But yeah, 30 discs,
30
all in
discs.
beautiful 4K
That's a
UHD.
lot of discs. Well,
Yeah, but it's also Criterion Collection, and they're gonna make the huge Criterion Collection list anyways.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for movie news, which means that yes, it's time to talk about the movie that we watched. As I mentioned, we saw Supergirl last night. Um, and well, the reviews, as you might have noticed, are mixed. I think that is the best,
Hmm.
probably gentlest way of putting it. It looks like this movie is a little bit divisive. Um, and I feel like that's more or less where we ended up as well.
I think our group ended up a bit more divisive than we were.
I mean, I think that, yes, I think we were probably gentler towards it than some people that were also in that theater. I will
Yes.
agree. Uh, but also, I do think that it's a hard movie to talk about because, yet again, we're faced with something that unfortunately modern fandom presents us with all the time now, which is good faith arguments of why something is bad versus bad faith arguments about why something is bad. I think there are a lot of people who are already predisposed to not like this movie because, I don't know, it has a woman in it. Then, of course, you have the other side of this conversation is like, well, it has a woman in it, which is not a bad thing, but also it could be a lot better than it is. So it really depends. It's really kind of the thing that you have to like talk around certain arguments in order to not look like you're a crazy person online. That being said, I don't think Supergirl's that great of a movie.
It's has its issues, it has its
Mhm.
flaws.
Yeah,
I don't think it's comparing it. I don't think it's a fair comparison to put it up
yeah.
against Superman, the film that came out last year, because James Gunn didn't write this, didn't direct this, but is still within his DC universe reboot like
Mhm.
imagining. So he is still at the head of this. He goes through all the directions, but at the end of the day, it does feel like this film was kind of created without a complete script, and a lot of the editing of this film
Yeah.
is a mess.
Yeah. So since seen it, I've done like a little bit of like context reading to
Okay.
understand like what this was. So was a originally the idea was to just straight up adapt a certain storyline from the comics.
Hmm.
And it more or less does that. But um it looks like they've made some weird choices with how they chose to adapt the story that changed the vibe of it a little bit. And that seems to have disappointed a lot of people that were expecting one thing out of this and maybe didn't get that. So it does seem like that backs up our assumption that the script went through a lot of revisions. It does feel like that. Like, when you get into a movie, sometimes you feel a little bit of whiplash, whether it be tonal or whether it just be plot wise, where things just don't feel like they fit right in the right way. And this definitely felt like that for me. And I get it. It's a hard one. It's a hard act to follow. That Superman movie was interesting in a way that a superhero movie hadn't been in a while. It had a very clear point of view about who Superman was. This is a little bit foggier. Supergirl is a harder character to define, and that's kind of baked into what the character, it seems. They want her to be a little bit more ambiguous about whether she just wants to do good or how she wants to do good. Also, her, origin story is a little bit more complicated. There's some, baggage there that maybe Superman doesn't exactly have, even though they share some baggage. But I still feel like there is a more of a perspective this movie could have taken. There's more of a direction this movie could have taken, but instead, what they chose to do was basically cram in as much plot as possible and just make it very plot focused, which I think was not the right choice. It makes when there are attempts at an emotional core fall pretty flat. And it makes you, by the end of the movie, feel like, well, the characters were sort of characters, but really they were archetypes more than they were characters. And that's really disappointing coming off of Superman, who really had a heart. Like that movie really had a emotional core. And I just think that's really lacking here.
It's it wants to say that Supergirl went on a journey. It wants to say that she's grown
Right.
emotionally. It wants
Mm,
to say that.
it wants to
I,
say that, but
I
it's
don't
not
think
doing
it's
that.
yeah, it doesn't really show that on the screen. Like by the time you get to the very end of the film and you feel like she's found a home,
Hmm.
she definitely says it as much that
Yeah.
she's willing to stay in one place now,
Yeah, but it
but
doesn't
it doesn't
feel
feel it.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't
There,
feel like that she's saying that because she's earned that moment. It doesn't feel like she's saying that because something has happened to convince her that that's home. It just seems like a series of crazy events happened and she was invincible throughout it. We talked a little bit about this. I don't want to dwell too much on this because I don't want to be the, cinema sin style, this doesn't
Mhm.
make sense kind of critic. Like, I think that that's a dumb way to criticize movies. But that said, when that causes you to not have that earned moment of a character arc, then that's kind of important. It should at least be mentioned. But yeah, there are moments in the movie where they do seem to try to convince you that Supergirl is in danger. But those rugs are immediately pulled out is when they need another fight scene to happen. And it happens twice. I'm not going to spoil it, but what I will say is in generally speaking, is that there are setups make you believe, oh shoot, I honestly don't know how this character is going to get out. Similar to the way that they did it with Superman in the last movie. But in that movie, it made sense why these things happen in a more logical way. In this movie, it doesn't. In this movie, it just seems arbitrary because the plot needed to continue. And without it, the movie would have stopped dead in its tracks. and you can't have that. So yeah, it felt a little less convincing because of that. And ultimately, like you're saying, if you never feel like there's actual stakes for Supergirl, Supergirl can't grow. Like there's no way that Supergirl can grow if she is reinforced that she is invincible. And I feel like that does happen here a little too much for it to actually work.
It's a shame because there's definitely something here
Mm,
where you could see a growth. You could see the outline of going from point A to point B to point C in a
yeah.
character growth and a character arc.
Yeah.
But getting to those points
Hmm.
feels like you're pulling them along and they're not
Yes.
willingly going to each place. And then you throw in Lobo on top of that, who feels very shoehorned in and just
Yes.
shows up because we need someone else here.
He feels like he's from a different movie every time
Yes.
he shows up. It's like, wait, what? Like, even the soundtrack makes it seem like the way the soundtrack dramatically changes when he shows up makes it seem like he's from a different movie. It's like, wait, what? If they wanted to make the Lobo movie, they could have also made the Lobo movie. But it does feel like all of a sudden the Supergirl movie becomes the Lobo movie before it switches back. And it's just like not, it doesn't make it feel consistent tonally or like plot wise.
I feel like there's a draft of the script where Lobo used the two girls to
Yeah.
find the ultimate bad
Yeah,
guy,
almost like that scene where they
but then they
met
pulled it
actually
out.
went somewhere instead of
But then
ending
they pulled
abruptly.
out saying, maybe we
Yeah.
shouldn't have Jason Momoa traffic these two women.
That brings up another point, and again, we can't go too long here, but this is a whole can of worms that I was
Mhm.
kept thinking of. This is a movie that references essentially sex trafficking a lot. It is
Yes.
part of the plot that the villain is rounding up women to basically use as
S-
mating
Yes.
for
Mm,
mating purposes. And this is a constant threat that is over the our two young female heroes' heads. It is used as a threat multiple times by the main villain and his crew, and is also supposedly part of an emotional arc for these side characters that are introduced that ultimately throw our heroes under the bus. It just feels uncomfortable and icky every time it happens, but the movie never seems to actually care that this is happening except
mhm.
for like moments. Like there's one line towards the end where it's like, "Oh, we got to save the other women." And it seems like it's just tossed off because someone in writing the script in the writing process realized, "Oh, wait, we have to save those women, right? It would be really weird if we didn't."
It definitely felt like an afterthought. It was like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
they're in danger.
It's like for something that serious, you'd think that the movie would at least give it some time for the character to say something about it. But no, the characters barely say anything about it. And it just feels like a plot device. And that's really gross. And I don't know how the original source material deals with it. So maybe that deals with it a little bit more gently. But this does seem really ham fisted in the way that it's treated such a serious topic. And so, yeah, little weird when the rest of your movie feels very empowering for your female character to have this background of gross stuff happening to other women that we don't care as much about because they're literally in the background. It's a little unfortunate. They do try one scene that I'm not going to spoil to kind of redeem, I guess, sort of these women and say, "Wow, they helped save the day." But it goes so quickly that you forget it immediately after it happens. You're like, "Oh yeah, huh? I guess that one literal one like maybe 2 seconds of screen time establishes, hey, they did something."
Yeah, I mean, it's just to give them something, because
Yeah.
otherwise, if you take it out, what was the point of them being there in the first place?
Right. It made me think of Mad Max Fury Road in a way where like there's a similar kind of
Hmm.
device used in that, but that movie redeems those characters so much that they're like they get so much screen time to do so much in that movie, and none of that happens here. It's really disappointing.
And yeah, I know we're going long here. Also,
Yeah,
we're supposed
sorry,
to be
but
short, but
yeah, but yeah,
yeah, needless to say, it's
weird choices.
not really a good script overall
No,
and kind of forgettable, especially the villain by the time you get to the end
yeah.
there.
And
Like,
what I will
can't
say
even say
is,
his name. I don't know.
yeah, no idea.
Bad guy.
The last thing I will say is if you're looking for something that has a lot of the same vibes of this, but is a better movie, just watch Captain Marvel again or watch Birds of Prey, a DC Universe movie that I feel like does the female empowerment thing better in a lot of ways and has similar vibes with the fight scenes. If you really enjoy fight scenes to, kick-ass female vocalists and singing over rock songs, that movie delivers in a way that this also kind of does, but is less complicated and kind of and equally as much of a fun time. So maybe there are better versions of this kind of thing. This almost feels kind of forced in the way that it's trying to emulate those movies that came before it, which is
Mhm.
unfortunate. But here's hoping that if they do get another try at this, that they somehow do right by this character because I think, like you said, there's a version of this movie that is way, way better if they made better choices with it. And I think that that's a testament to what Millie Alcock is doing as Supergirl. I think she's actually pretty good in the role, and there's interesting stuff there. It's just the movie fails her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we won't fail you. We'll be back next week.
We will. We'll be back next week for another episode of the Media Book Podcast. That does it for movies, and that does it for the show this week. If you want to see us in video form, we're on YouTube. Search YouTube for Media Boat Podcast. If you want us in audio form, search podcast services of your choice for Media Boat Podcast as well. If you want us on the internet, we're on Blue Sky. Search Media Boat Podcast there. And we can be emailed, of course. If you have questions, comments, feedback about the show, email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com.
Next week is the pre-4th of July show. We
Yes.
will get to it, and I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know if we
we'll
both
figure
will.
out.
We'll
Yeah,
figure that out.
we'll figure out a time that we can record it. But yes, besides that,
Yes.
we will be back in some form.
Yep. I'll be back with more news, more thoughts, and more of us.
All right, see you
All
then.
right. Bye.